Hi everyone, I'm back playing Conflict of Heroes Guadalcanal, and this is Firefight number 4, Edson's Lucky Raid, and I am playing with the excuse me, the spent dice check from 3rd edition Awakening the Bear as normal. But this particular firefight, I've slightly altered it for a couple of reasons. One is I've just done the first 2 rounds, and in the firefight, the Japanese player would set their units up hidden. I'm playing this solo, so I've chosen not to do that in a certain sense. So what we have here is a village at the bottom of the map here, and this Japanese patrol are making their way to the village. They know that there's Japanese forces here. They don't know where they are. So in the way I'm playing this is that the Japanese would give their position away by firing upon the Americans, and the Americans wouldn't know where they were. And I took the Americans down what I thought would be a natural sort of patrol spread of the unit. So we have 1 unit coming into this side, 2 units going down the middle, and 1 unit going to that side. In addition to that, I let the American units have their full action points and not using the spent die roll until they actually got engaged with the enemy. So in this particular case, I let them have 7 action points. Now, once the enemy started firing upon them, then we went to the spent die check. And the reason I did that was that in my mind, the Americans, whilst being somewhat guarded, are they're not under the same level of combat stress as they're working their way through the jungle until they're being actually can see the enemy and actually are being fired on from the enemy. Once that happened, then I went to the spend die, and I found this mechanic worked really well. So they were able in the first couple of rounds to progress down the board. This sniper here, the sniper has a concealed fire card, which basically meant that he could fire upon the American squad, and as he did so, actually was able to inflict a casualty or suppressed a casualty counter, suppressed this unit, and then remained hidden in the first round. Fired again in the second round, but was unable to make the die roll necessary for the concealed fire. So now the Americans know exactly where that sniper is. In addition to this, we've got a mountain gun. I think it's a 70mm mountain gun. That opened fire on this unit as they progressed through these palm trees here. Again, giving away its position. Thankfully, for the Americans, the die roll of that Japanese mountain gun wasn't great, so it all worked out okay for them. Interestingly, on this round here, this side of the map, on round 2, this unit became engaged by some Japanese reinforcements who are making their way back. They're the returning guard. I've just got the scenario book in front of me right now. They're the returning guard, and they come on every turn, providing certain criteria are met. This unit valiantly managed to hold off, as you can see, both those 2 units firing at point blank range into the jungle, but took a casualty counter themselves, and they're cowering. Actually gave them a benefit because they were cowering. It meant that their sort of defense value went up, which they took advantage of, thankfully. So yeah, two rounds in, already a great story, a great narrative playing out for me here on this mission. I've played this firefight quite a few times before. This is the first time I've used it though, with the action spent die, and combining that with the traditional action points from previous versions in the same scenario, and I thought it worked quite well actually. So yeah, looking forward to doing rounds 3 and 4 later and see how the game progresses. So just finished rounds 3 and 4. Just to talk you through some of the action that we've seen. The Marines have been able to really show great progress down this side of the map. We've got a couple of squads in very close to the village. Remember, they're trying to take this objective here, that control objective there. Been able to infiltrate in and grab some of those buildings there. This unit's not a million miles off either. And in doing so, they've been able to inflict a couple of casualties on the Japanese. So currently in the victory point stance, the American Marines are currently doing very well. They have lost a unit, and they lost a unit over here to some very fierce close quarter combat. This unit here have been able to hold on, though they do have a Japanese unit next to them that have been hit and have gone berserk as an impact of that. It basically means that while they're berserk, they've got a little bit more defense. Their defensive values increased, and the cost for attacking is decreased. But it means they have a casualty on them. So if they get hit again, they'll be out of the game. There was this unit here engaged the sniper in close combat, melee combat, and stunned the poor old sniper as a result. So no more running away there for the sniper. So yeah, it's been quite effective. The mountain gun over there, not really seen any action over the last couple of rounds, and we'll see how that shakes down. So we have one more round to play. In the last round, we've got a couple more Japanese squads who will be coming in from this side. The Japanese predominantly have, if they're able to hold that objective, they can bring new squads in on every single turn, which they've been able to do. So all to play for. I mean, to be honest, there's not a lot in it on the victory at the minute. Really, the Americans have really got to try and grab that objective and not take too many casualties. The Japanese simply have to stop them and try and inflict another casualty or two on the Marines for the Japanese to win it. So let's see how all that goes in the next round. So just finished the last round on this firefight. The Americans just won it by one victory point. It's probably been one of the closest, almost the last couple of die rolls games that I've had in a while. The long and short of it was that the American squads in this area here tried to move in and grab the objective, but the Japanese just managed to fend them off and keep hold of that objective. They took a casualty token counter, took some major casualties along the way, but just wasn't enough for the Americans to, get rid of them. We had an American MMG team run out into the open and lay down some fire to try and take out this Japanese MG team here. Inflicted casualties, but not enough to take them out. And then here we've had some fierce fighting. The Americans were suppressed, but the Japanese weren't able to finish them off. Over here, again, more very, very fierce fighting. But again, the Americans were just able to inflict enough casualties just to claim that victory. This particular unit here, Japanese unit here, they entered the board down this path and managed to get every die roll they needed. And if the last bit of they just ran out of steam almost on the last bit. They ended up there, I think, and just couldn't enter the hex with the Americans, and the Americans just were able to just hold on to that one single victory point and take victory in what has been a really, really, really close firefight. This one. If I played it again differently, what would I do different? The field gun was particularly non-effective. Its firepower is quite low. It's only got a firepower of 3, but it didn't really do much, I suppose. And really, I placed it there with the idea that the Japanese would naturally cover this massive killing area here, and if the Americans were foolish enough to stray into that, which they never did, mostly because of the reinforcements coming on from this edge of the board, that kept this side occupied. Where the Americans were able to take a lot of progress was down the middle and down the side here. Probably worth noting, poor old sniper, he no more. So the Americans found him and put paid to that sniper. So a great narrative played out in this firefight. It was a lot of fun. This one doesn't take long to set up and play. I think that's probably just taken me around about an hour, and I've stopped a few times and wrote down some notes as I've played through. So it doesn't take long, but a very fierce game with a really strong narrative. So very much enjoyed that. And I personally, I quite I like using the action spent dice from Awakening the Bear 3rd edition, and I combined it, like I said, with the sort of with the action point usage of actually how this game is written in the design at the beginning, and I thought that worked really well. That idea that when troops are unaware of a danger, they are less likely to take stress, and I thought that worked quite well. It's quite interesting. But yeah, great firefight, a lot of fun, really close, down to the last victory point, which was great, and a really engaging narrative that came out in this mission. So yeah, a lot of fun. So great stuff, and thanks for watching.